Hi, it's Sean Bodley with Clear Technologies. I'm a senior IT consultant and recognized as an IBM Power Champion. And in a coordinated effort with the ITSO, I'm going to present how to perform a non-disruptive upgrade from PowerHA version 7.13 to PowerHA version 7.2.1. Now, first, let me give an overview of my environment. I have HA 7.13 with Service Pack 5 and AIX level 7.2.0 SP2. I have a simple 2-node cluster, what we call a hot standby, with a single service IP address and volume group. And after the upgrade, I'm going to have HA 7.2.1, and of course my AIX level is going to stay the same. Now, that is key for a non-disruptive upgrade. If you have to update AIX in order to support the version of HA you're migrating to, then of course you cannot perform a non-disruptive upgrade. So, in a nutshell, here's the steps. I'm simply going to stop one of the nodes using the unmanage option. Typically I do the standby node first, and that's what I'm going to show. After it's stopped, I simply do an update all, being sure to accept new license agreements for the new version, and then simply restart the cluster services on that node, let it join the cluster, let it stabilize, and then simply repeat one node at a time. So in this case, there won't be any moving of the resource groups. Everything will stay in place. So real quick before I switch over to the demo, here's just some quick links that may come in handy. If you're watching this video, you're probably already on my YouTube channel. But there is a very helpful PowerHA wiki that I do most of the maintenance on. So there is a link to almost all of these demos, red papers, red books, white papers, news, announcement letters. So the PowerHA wiki is hopefully really good for one-stop shopping. So with that, let me get over and start to, I will show the recording that I created of actually performing the non-disruptive update. Okay, so this is my 2-node cluster. You can see that it's stable. I've got Jessica is the primary node and the resource group is online there. Jordan is the standby node. It too is stable. And so the first thing I'm going to do is stop the cluster on Jordan, which is the backup node. And got to change it to unmanage. Use the unmanage option. There we go. And this will just take a couple of seconds because it's not hosting a resource group, so there's really not much for it to do. So when you stop something unmanaged, you will see the node show up in this forced down list. So I'm showing my my current version, which is 7.135, which is cluster version 15, and I will show after we upgrade what that version changes to. Alright, so I'm doing a simple update all here. Tell it to accept new licenses to update to 7.2.1. This will take just a handful of seconds. Now you can see that my state of Jordan went away. That's because the cluster manager daemon was stopped being upgraded, and it'll restart here in just a second. Okay, so now it's restarted. You can see the init back, and we're almost finished with the upgrade here. Okay, so the update has completed. I can go back now and check and see that, yep, still just got STNet. I can see my HA721. I can go ahead and restart the node into the cluster. I'm just doing a CL Manager start node here. And once it joins and stabilizes, we will repeat this process on the primary node, which is Node Jessica. So standby node has come back in, it's stable. I can check the version now and it says 7.2.1.0, but you may have noticed that the CL version still said 15. That number won't get updated until all nodes in the cluster have been upgraded. So now I'm going to stop the primary node with the unmanage option. Again, this leaves the resources alone, so the volume group file systems will stay up, the IP address stays in place, simply just goes into this unmanaged state. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to perform an update all to 721. This will take a handful of seconds. Oh, what happened here? Remember something I said before? As I said, don't forget to accept the license agreement. So I pretty much make it a habit, no matter what I'm installing or upgrading, I always choose to accept the license agreement even if I don't need one, specifically for this reason. If I do it every time, then I never miss it. If I try to remember only the times I need it, then somehow I miss it. So I try to always use the option to accept new license. Okay, so this update is running. I'm getting close. And it's completed. So you can see I've got the init on Node Jessica down, still showing unmanaged. I will check my cluster manager ES. Not much to see other than it shows 721 at the end. And I'll go ahead and restart this node. All this really does is restart cluster services and enable the monitoring. It still leaves the resources alone. So now it just says the resource is online. And now I'll go back and check my version, and now that's been updated to CL version 17, whereas in before it said 15. Again, that number doesn't get changed until all nodes in the cluster have been upgraded. So that's it.